Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wired for Wonder. Today, we are so excited to have a big thinker with us today, Dr. Sabyasachi Saha, who is a neurosurgeon specialty. He's the CEO of an AI tech implementation company, and overall, just a big thinker, always trying to bring together different industries. Dr. Sabya, thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me in this session.
And just to give our audience a little bit of background on you, give us just kind of a brief history of what you're up to today.
Well, so myself, Dr. Sabyasachi Saha, I go mostly by Dr. Saha or Dr. Sabya. Most of my US friend talks to me about in this particular language. I'm a CEO and Chief AI Scientist of Techno Exponent, having more than 14 years experience in the industry. So, uh, Techno Exponent is working on different kind of tech stack like AI/ML development, blockchain development, digitalizations of any businesses. So we do different domain like healthcare, tech, fintech, retail, and any other industries. And our goal is to helping startup, mid-level, or enterprise businesses that how they can perform the digital task or digitalization of their business. Say, for examples, you are having a retail business and you don't know how AI can help you on the business, we are there to help you. Or you are a blockchain, you don't know how to enter into the blockchain development sections, we are there to help you. Even you want to build a mobile applications or you want to go for marketing of your businesses. So we Techno Exponent is a one-stop solutions for that. My PhD on generative AI, and I have published a lot of research paper in healthcare, edtech, and fintech, and I continuously doing it, making sure that we can give our client uh, great success and perspective in their business.
Well, I love it. And again, it's such a big cross section and I love it. But one of the things that I think you and I, who've been in tech for a long time, are amazed with, is the fact that technology doesn't you don't have to be a technologist anymore to really use the technology, but what you need is the ability to kind of be creative and think about, right, what can be built. So if you were to give the audience some tips on, maybe what you're seeing from your clients, what you're seeing out from all of your writings and your public interactions, what do you think are some shifts that you're seeing in leadership that AI is bringing?
So I always say in many of the conferences and many of the seminars AI can be your new co-founders. So it's really true. Um, Previously, the founders always get a co-founder, tech co-founder actually, or because of they are not having the enough AI power right now. AI can be a great tech co-founder. So let's imagine you are having a simple e-commerce businesses. You are selling very simple some products, which is a very common questions I got many of the conferences. So how AI can help on that particular section? So previously, what we had to do, we may not show client a proper recommendations, or I have a specific stock. I was not too sure how I can make sure my stocks are all sold very quickly. Now those things we can get done by AI. Simply like what we can do, like we can have the client history, last purchase histories. We can keep those record when that particular customers are coming to the platform or in your shop or in your showroom. So you simply give them their personalized recommendations, and once you give them their personalized recommendations, that product can be easily you can sell of your product. So my thing is very simple, that using AI, you can actually make your business into the next level. This is I said a very simple example of your simple retails like e-commerce. Let's say for examples you have in a healthcare business. So in a healthcare, many of the tasks become repetitive. So example, many of the use cases I get, like sometimes someone needs to manage their nurses, manage their healthcare professional, and they are not sure that how to manage them. and some of the repetitive tasks they need to give every day, and there are many person doing this administrative works. Now, using AI, if you feed the data to the AI, and AI can automatically do it, like staff appointments, which staff to do what works, notify them that okay, you have to do this work, you have to finish by then. If the task base finish, they can update and next task comes to them. So everything can be automated, because human sometimes, they are absent, or they are not available, or you have a shortage of stuff. But AI can automatically make sure, like, whatever the staff's members you have, how to distribute the task, even I say redistribute the task to your existing members. So that way AI can do. This is the few examples. So now answer to your
Yeah, no,
question originally. Yeah, it is a
yeah, no,
great shift is
it
happening.
does. It does. And I think it's actually great because I think you're bringing up, right? Like, as we're in technology, and you start using even just the chat bots that are out there, right? Like, you start all of a sudden seeing,
Yes.
like, wait, I can automate and get rid of some of the tasks that are causing me pain so I can actually spend time, like you mentioned, healthcare, right? Doctors can spend more time on the thing that they're concerned or that they're, most passionate about, rather than some administrative tasks, right? And then also, as you were talking, it made me think about how AI is like having your own personal research team of 10, right? Where it can come in and just do the work for you very quickly. But I think where I feel like a lot of people get hung up is that they think that they're thinking of AI like it's another big piece of technology. Like, I'm going to have to learn it. I'm going to have to figure out how to, change my staff, all of that. Whereas at deephumanx, we really believe that it's actually, you need to start with small, and it has to be something personal, because then what you do is you're going to be able to shift your own thinking to actually create and delegate tasks that are going to lead to much greater outcomes. So when I say that, is that something that you agree with, that there's going to be a shift from that? There's got to be a shift from the individual human perspective versus the traditional how technology has been, where you go learn a piece of tech and that dictates. What do you think when I say that?
Absolutely, I completely agree on your points. In the chatbot portions, or automatic customer support portions, many time it happens like, I have built one system, and I want to give you the examples of that. That will be clear my perspective over there. So a real estate company came to me and asked like, Sabia, actually, we are having a real estate companies, and every day I get a lot of inbound calls, and every day, and I have a lot of data. Those data I want my AI calls and book an appointment with the particular prospective customers who want to view the property. So can you do something? So I said, of course, we can solve this problem. So previously he had nearly 7 to 8 people who were constantly calling the outbound call and getting the inbound call, and trying to get the appointment fixed by their higher level management, who actually go and view the customers. So now we replaced that by AI, and we kept only 2% out of 7, only 2% been there who actually making the outbound. So AI actually making the outbound calls. We are giving them a data, very human voice, very realistic voice, doing the outbound call, talking to different customers, getting the appointment, and booking their calendar, uh, booking into their Google Calendar, and make sure like the particular persons get notified 1 hour before the appointment time. And inbound call also handling, taking care of, if the call is very crucial which AI cannot handle, then transferring the call to the real agent. So all and everything doing it. So imagine like, if you are a single-handed real estate agent, or you are a doctor who don't want to keep a secretary or many person in your office. Simply AI can take the call on behalf of you, and AI can do the call on behalf of you. AI can remind your patient that this information you need to submit. All and everything can be done through the AI. So again, like for
Yeah.
individual business and everything, it's a great shift is happening through AI.
I mean, I just think of like, as you were talking, I'm going to go to my personal experiences, right? Where I'm in the US and I go to the doctor and I just like look at sometimes the staff at just a general practitioner's office where they're so bombarded with email, phone calls, patient portal, calendaring, right? Like there's just a lot of administrative stuff that the doctor has to check in on that like it doesn't really need a check at that point. Like it's like, okay, maybe give a summary or just there's a lot of ways to ease the amount of tactical steps to stay in compliance and process, right? That could eliminate and free up time for the doctor or the staff to be working on other things. So you did talk about
Exactly.
getting rid of right, gaining the efficiency. So everybody is kind of aware of that, right? And I think there's a lot of fear around it, but it seems like we're moving, like it feels like we're finally kind of moving over. Like, yes, AI is going to replace some jobs, but it's also going to create a whole lot of other jobs. If I were to,
Exactly, exactly. Add on to your point, when the computer came first time, people thought like it will take off a lot of people's job, but actually it didn't. It created a lot of jobs. So similarly,
yeah,
AI also will be doing the same thing.
yeah, well, that's what I think is that it's going to actually expand our minds as humans. It is going to, and this is where I think a lot of people have a lot of uncertainty and unknown is it's going to require us as humans to be like, well, we have in the workplace, we've really been going into standardization and process and linear thinking and don't think outside of right this very small container. But what's happening now is the shift to like you have to think about bigger goals because the machines are going to be able to do what we used to have 3 or 4 people to do, right? So now
Yes,
we have this amazing opportunity to be like, wait a minute, we could actually think about greater things. Like, I know on some of your articles, you write about the detection of strokes, the detection of disease before the symptoms even go. I
yes.
mean, this gives us like a whole lot of opportunity as humans to just start getting really creative and as leaders to get creative about what is out there. So if I were to ask you, where do you see the biggest opportunity for AI to impact the quality of life for humans?
That's great questions, and actually, we are constantly innovating on that. Not only the Techno Exponent, other companies are constantly innovating on that portion. So, healthcare, I can see like early disease detection. I have published one of the paper as well, and with a few of the companies, I'm also working on that. Like understanding lot of reports, analyzing the lot of reports, their face, their other skin tones, and everything, and trying to detect the disease even before that disease appears. So this is the way we can give a lot of better quality of living for the human. Then
Yeah.
another point is there, better diagnosis or faster diagnosis. So what happening like many time the reports, or many time let's say when you are going to a general practitioner GP, so general practitioner may not have your all the that person's all the case studies like historical data and everything. Sometimes for a patient it's not possible to remember or provide the information on the time of doctor visiting, like what previous medical histories he had or she had. Now if we had a system, of course, like most of the hospital has a system, so if those system can be linked with each other, and patient have all the informations through any available channels about his all the history before, and he visited, let's say, five hospital uploaded all the case studies, all his medical history. Now when he goes to any particular general practitioners or any particular specialist for his or her next problem, so in one prompt or any word, in any one line, doctor can ask that show me all his patient medical histories before, and all the his data been accumulated and shows to doctor. Now doctor can do a better treatment to that patient
Yeah.
instead
Well,
of
I mean,
having
like,
this
and what a
instant
tool
knowledge.
for a doctor to say, okay, give me the brief history. Because, like, let's be real, you're humans. And then the way that, insurance works and doctors work is it feels like they're just trying to get you in and out. And so they're really more,
Yes,
they sadly have to focus on the volume versus the actual, am I taking time to heal? And that's part of doing business, but it's an opportunity that we have to change. But like also the amazement, like what if, the doctor in there could say, look at this patient and they're describing the symptoms. It's making me think there might be some thyroid issue. Is there anything else in the history that, right? Like it could like actually help the doctor as they're getting their complex thinking and they might not see the patterns yet, right? You could use AI as a tool to help them say, oh no, yeah, look, it came back and it validated this symptom, which all are indications in the past that they've had in the past of some thyroid condition, right? Or whatever that condition might be. But I think that there's this like great way to be like, let's actually get back to focusing on what humans are good at. Like as a doctor and as a human being, right, we have all of these, built into our evolution, right? All of these like sensors and understanding that a person to person can understand that the technology can't. So let's let the technology do the mundane stuff, but then also really be a tool for those doctors. So I love that
Yes.
thinking, right? Like that's a great example of, right, in the moment, using the tech to actually help you be a better doctor, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. And while efficiency is going to be probably an output, and the client, your clients, you're also going to get the human validation of that patient's going to feel like they've been listened to. They're going to feel like their needs are addressed. And it just is going to be better for the doctor and the patient to be like, okay, we can move forward now without a lot of business processes getting in the way of the actual healing process, right?
Yes, yeah, that's true. Not only the healthcare add-ons to that, like let's say another example I like to give, because in a edtech businesses or in the fintech. So edtech mostly, very basic example I want to give, like um, in many of the countries, education still not very easy to get. Okay,
Mhm.
so imagine like you are going to any classes or any students are going to any classes. Now in the class, sometimes some of the top students are there, they understand quickly. Some of the students are not that much of having a skill, so it takes time to learn it. Now thing is that like those like classes have been recorded and transcribed. Now there is a portal any college authorities or educational authorities can make, where they can easily ask questions on the lectures and it gives them answers.
Oh my gosh. Don't you feel like, I mean, that feels like cheating, but in such a good way of life? Because, like, how many times have you gone to a lecture or you've gone to a meeting or you've gone to something and you're like, okay, I got most of that. And you know what? I'll go look that up later. And you don't. And then you realize it was a foundational thing that you kind of
Yes.
missed, right? Well,
Yeah.
now you can go back and say, hey, here's the transcripts of the lecture. Here's a theme. You know what? I didn't really get this. Can you explain this to me like I'm a second grader?
Exactly.
Right. And you can like then be like, okay, now I got the concept and move forward so that it really does allow for individual learning,
Yes.
rather than like the information is out there and now you have this opportunity individually. And I
Mm.
think this is where there's a shift in the mindset of like the business of any business, whether it's fintech, ed tech, really any business. And we see this with our customers at deephumanx a lot is that there's this mindset shift of many leaders. I mean, you're the CEO of a company. Many leaders are expected to have all the answers and know all the right decisions. Well, the
Yes.
truth is we're all humans, right? And nobody knows all the answers, and especially
Exactly.
not
True.
now in the changing times. So it's almost like we have this opportunity to say, "Hey, let's shift from I have this responsibility to know everything to me as a leader. I have the responsibility to be curious, to
Hmm.
make sure that I'm understanding, to make sure that my team is curious, to make sure that we're exploring areas that maybe we don't know and we didn't even know that we don't know, right? Like kind of being open to a little bit of humbling of like, hey, let's really use this opportunity with AI to
Yes.
start asking questions. And I mean, you know this as a leader, or I don't know if you experience this, but it can be lonely as a leader, right? It can be like, oh my gosh, who do I talk to about this crazy complex situation, right? And
True.
now you can actually go right into, you have the ability with the technology to get your thinking clearly so you can then talk to others about it.
Yeah.
Does that
Exactly.
resonate with you? That
Yeah,
mindset shift.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, good. And then what do you think are shifts in thinking that are going to need to happen for the enterprise to really take advantage of the change that AI is bringing?
Enterprise is doing a lot of ways they are changing because of enterprise has a lot of power. Most of the problem as a business owner, I found like a startup and the person, the business who are trying to grow, because sometimes they don't have enough funding and things like that. But in the enterprise, I seen like a lot of enterprise I work with. So there is a big change or shift they are making of data. So enterprise has access of a huge amount of data, which maybe a startup or a scale up business don't have. So using the data, enterprise are shifting gear in sales, in marketing, in operations. So they know everything. Like they have their, let's say, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, maybe even more data sets they have. So they are creating a very good analytical dashboard. They know like which particular portion they have a lack point, which particular industry or which particular domain they need to make their paddle up. So they have their data sets. Previously they had to do a lot of manual works, like they had to find out data, they have to make the plot the graph and doing a lot of manual thing. Right now all and everything they are doing very quickly and easily. Now that's the big change for enterprise growing rate is quite high. Like their security stuffs is getting high. I work a lot of enterprise, so I have when I work with enterprise, so they provide me data instantly. They provide me all the security stuff when I'm implementing that, so I know like what are the loopholes are there from previous histories they have. Even like an enterprise also can research, put money into the R&Ds, like a lot of new things which yet not been implemented into the market, which you cannot find tools. Like a
Yeah.
startup or scale up, you have a tools, but enterprise need a nice tools or like the intelligent tools, but that they don't have, so they can use their money to research on this. So this way enterprise is shifting the career in different places.
Well, and I like that. And that makes me think of one of us, right, a natural step for change is when
Mm-hmm.
you kind of take a step back as a human being and you look at a bigger picture, right? You look
Mm-hmm.
at it from a different perspective. I like to call it like lessening the define, right? You take what you knew, which is where you were or your context, and then you like actually kind of adopt almost the observer mindset where you're like looking at it from a more macro perspective. And that allows you to think of new possibilities and to look differently. And I totally can see that with the data, right? For
Mm-hmm.
I've worked at large organizations for decades, and it's interesting. There's all this data that people don't know what to do with, or they have somebody who knows how to do with it, but they're only asking a couple of very small questions to the data. So you're getting the same reports, the same things. But what's happening now, from what you're saying, is there is this shift of like, we don't have to be constrained anymore by the questions that we used to ask. Instead, let's
Yes.
actually ask ask the data. You can interact with your data now. Thank you
Yes.
to machine learning for getting us to this point, right? And AI, like, thank you for
Mm-hmm.
getting us there. But you can actually ask the data questions you that a human probably wouldn't be able to parse over 10,000 bits of information, but
Yes.
the system can do it really quickly. So that's
Yes.
really, really exciting when you hear about that. What advice would you give to leaders who are looking, right, to take advantage of their data and to start making some shifts in the way that they actually operate their business? What is some advice you would give to leaders who are kind of looking to do that?
Yeah, so I will again take a very good examples which recently I have worked with one of the restaurant, very small business I will talk about. He has nearly 10, 15 restaurants in the United States, and he said me like, most of the data I have operational through a billing system. So, and billing system doesn't have a specific APIs or something, but I have a data, let's say last 5, 6 years data I have. So through this particular billing system. So I said simply like, okay, it's great. Like those data are maybe a digital data or some of the physical data available. So we extracted those data into a digital format, and then we feeds or ingest AI model with those data. So all the business owner who are started their business or who are already built their business for a few years, I would tell them like you should keep your all the data into the digital format and to the secure format, that your data should not be stolen. That's number one thing. And once you have the data, then you make a different system, like maybe the predictive analysis system, maybe the automated system, everything you can, you plan like, or you may take a consultant help, like how you can utilize those data best efficient ways. Like for a restaurant, I can tell, like some of the restaurant for specific season, they sell some of their menus very nicely, like quantities they need to make high. Some of the e-commerce platform or some of the retail store or some of the other stores, they need to keep a particular stock any specific month in a year in a larger amount of stock. So if they have their 5 years, 10 years, 20 years data, so they can easily understand like I have to put my marketing effort this particular month in a year on this particular product, because last 5 years, this particular month of January, this particular product has a huge sale. So this kind of thing. Of course, some of the business leaders said me like, okay, I have some of the knowledge. Of course, you have some of the knowledge, but you don't have in and out of each of the products, what being sold
Yeah.
or what opportunities to be sold. So I would recommend all the business owner that they keep their data securely. Then they understand like what exactly they need to do with the data. They can take a help of consultant, and consultant give a right directions, and using that direction they can build their products.
Well, and I think that's like such a perfect example. One, we all go to restaurants. We all know we've gone and you're like, how did you not expect this to be for this to
Yes,
sell out? Because it's the highest thing.
yes.
But like something like restaurants are such a good example because right, they have inventory forever. Like it's not like you as a business owner, you have to go get different data. It's like take what you have. Like let's say you've been,
Mhm.
you know, ordering inventory for the last 10 years, right? That's
Yes,
data that as a human, you're never going to go back and look at every sheet. But you know what? You've probably got it electronic somewhere, or even if you have papers, snap a photo, put it in that, put it into your system.
yeah.
Again, I agree with you. Secure system, right? Don't just put it
Mhm.
out there anywhere. But that's that's number one, be secure. But there's so many ways to make sure that that's very easily
Yes,
done. But
yes.
like start with what you have. Like don't feel like you have to create more. That's like I think another shift with AI is that it used to be like you had to do all this prep to start using the technology. Like no, now it's like take what you have and let it turn into what you need. Whereas
Yes.
that's a big shift the way that software was before, right? It was like you had to come to where the software was, and now we've got this ability to go wherever you are. The technology
Mhm.
can actually come. So take your sheets of inventory for restaurants and see when should you be ordering more of,
Yes.
whatever it is or whatever this dish is. So I
Mhm.
love, love, love that example. Okay. So to kind of get into, uh, the deephumanx side of things at deephumanx, right, we are big proponents, like you, we do AI consulting. We really are about helping organizations get kickstarted, but we believe that humanity, right, it's going to be humans that are really going to shape the future of, what the future of work looks like, right, how we can use this technology.
True.
And so we have deephumanx as we think that each person has their own purpose or their own passion and motivator. And so if I were to say to you, what is your X in life? Like, what is it that really kind of keeps driving you? What would you share with the audience?
Well, so my goal point is very simple, which drives me out. So I want like my motto is that every business should be the technology power. When I started this business, that time, of course, the technology was in the market, but in 2011, all the startup or mid-level business, or I can say scale-up business, they don't have that much of technological power. So they that time were doing most of the work into the physical manner, like handwritten manner, into the keeping books, everything. But my motto was from that time, make sure all the business all the clients who have the technical knowledge, or maybe they are non-technical, make sure that I guide them, or a company guide them properly how they can make their business into the ways of digitalizations. So last 14 years, one thing make me drive, and I work hard for that. That is the how I can make sure my client get their business into the digitalizations ways, and they use the power of technology. They use the power. Recently, they use the power of AI, and make sure they make their business automations, and they can use their hours to making more engagement into the, taking more care onto the client satisfactions, not rather than working on the repetitive task. And of course, like our techno exponent are making the employment a lot into the countries in India, some of it in US, a little bit in Dubai, Singapore. So that is also helped me out, that I at least helping both ways, like through employment, making the employment as an empowerment, and of course, like I'm helping different businesses so they can grow. When those businesses grow, so those businesses also helping the people up there, like they are also creating employments and making the whole world into a new shape. That's my motto, and that's driving me out in this
I
business, and
think
will
that's
continue.
pretty profound, right? Like, hey, if I can help somebody who can help somebody who can help somebody, right? Like
Correct.
you can make some really big impact in this world. So that is
Yes.
awesome. And then my last question for you is, if you were to give advice to the audience, and tell, any leaders of the future, anyone, you're talking about really making an impact with your clients and so that it spreads throughout the world, but what would be the 3 human skills that you would tell people to work on right now, especially in this time of change with AI? What would be your advice? The 3,
Yeah.
human
So
skills.
first advice I should give to human, which I follow in my life, that uh, everyday world has a drastic change. Like every day is getting changed. If you are a business owner, if you're working somewhere, you have to be updated every day. Um, let's imagine, giving an example, simple. Previously, as a developer, as a coder who used to do coding on a specific lines, let's say, just for an example, 10 lines coding was great. Right now, those 10 lines are making by an AI. So you have to use AI and make you efficient. So
Yeah.
update is very important. Every day you have to update yourself. That we don't do. Every day, 30 minutes, even 20 minutes update we don't do. We don't read like what new tech has come into the market. So I advise, and which I
Upgrade, I
follow
like that.
myself. Yeah, I follow myself, like every day I need to update, understand what a new thing has come to in the industry, and how I can use it in my day-to-day life. That's number one. Then second point, I always think like motivated. Every day a lot of negative will come. If you are a business person, if you are an employee, if you are working somewhere, every day a negativity will come to you. Like some of the cases you will be failure, some of the cases you will be successful, sometimes people will say you good, sometimes people will say you bad. Everything can happen. Anything can happen. So prepare for everything, and every day keep motivated. Like always, I try to say myself, and I see like a lot of people, I advise a lot of people as well. Always say what good you have done in particular day, that day, and what improvement you have done particular that day. So motivate yourself with the second thing. If you are not motivated, you cannot help your client, you cannot help your prospective customer. So that's importantly the second part of the thing, and you cannot take a huge decision. And third thing I say, like never been smug or self-satisfied. So many times we found like that we if we achieve something, we start being self-satisfied, that okay, I have done this achievement and things like that. So let's imagine that you are a very good person who can write a very nice code, or you are a very good communicative person. So you can make a very good sales, but should not be self-satisfied or smug for any reason. Every day is a new day. Today you done a great thing, it's great, forget. Next day it can be your experience, but next day you start from the zero, and again you have to achieve that high. So these three things I normally want to tell for all the persons.
I love those, and they're all such wise things, right? Like keep updating yourself, keep curious, keep
Mhm.
motivating yourself,
Correct.
right? And remember to
Never
start
be
over every day.
self-satisfied.
We're all
Yeah.
just humans trying to do our best, every single
Yeah.
one of us, right?
Yeah.
So I love
Correct.
it. Well, I absolutely love the conversation today. You have such a unique perspective, and I appreciate you sharing it with the audience today. If somebody wanted to connect with you, where should we send them?
Okay, so you can send, this is Sabyasachi at the rate of technoexponent.com, or you can have my LinkedIn as well. So Dr. Sabyasachi Saha. And you can also reach to the Techno Exponent, in the website, and we have all our details.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on, and thank you everyone for listening today.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.